everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. So let's get into it. Arlecchino was not known as someone gentle or loving. In fact, when the Harbinger was mentioned at all, people only thought of her as cruel, terrifying, and cold. And all these things were true for them. But to you, who had seen her true and real heart, all of them felt quite out of place. For the Arlecchino that you knew was very different from the knave. She was someone loving, someone gentle, and someone, despite how cold she seemed, she was someone who was willing to do everything to make sure that you were safe and felt satisfied. So, to you, that was more than enough. It was more than anything you could have ever wished for. However, there was a huge problem that neither of you were brave enough to confront. The problem being her position as the father of the house, and also a harbinger. So it was a little bit complicated being in a relationship with someone like that, knowing everything that you do, and going through the things that you have. They were top secret information, and you couldn't share them with anyone, which was fine. You could actually keep a secret or two, maybe 100, just for her sake. However, it was a little bit complicated when those secrets were being used against you. Others had wanted to use you against Arlecchino, and she was not ignorant to that. She knew very well that people would try to use those who were close to her against her. After all, she had no personal weaknesses, and people hypothesized that maybe her children, or you, her partner, could actually be her true weakness. The way to get to her, and the way to finally wrap her around her fingers. Unfortunately for them, Arlecchino was not someone who was easily tricked, and not someone who conceded as well. So no matter what, she would never let any of you be used against her. She was strong enough to bear grief, and she would not lose. Losing meant defeat, and defeat meant something else for the house that she could not bear. For now, she needed to keep on being the father that everyone needed, just so the house would grow and be stable enough to have someone else take over the position. She already knew who would, but that would be a thing for later. For now, as she had heard of the numerous operations that were being launched against her, having the best spies in the world after all, she had raised them herself. Well, it was a little bit difficult to make the decision, but eventually, as she weighed it up, she knew there was no other choice. No other choice that guaranteed your safety, and also guaranteed the safety of the house. And that meant, actually, letting go of everything between you two. Primarily, it was to keep you safe. She could handle people leaking the information in the house a little bit. She had had it done before, and it was fine. She was able to deal with it, and the house would be stable with her around. She would not be going anywhere anytime soon. However, if something happened to you, she would never forgive herself, and she would not know how to live with that, knowing that she was the reason behind your death. That's why she had called you into her office today, preparing to do something that would break both your hearts. But in the long run, it would be for good. You would find someone who's more worthy of you, someone who's able to appreciate you and not put you in danger, unlike her. And eventually, she too would be able to let go. The pain in her heart would be locked away, too deep for her to actually feel. And though she may never forget, she will not regret this decision no matter what. And that was something she knew very well. Arlecchino, you called me, but I don't know why. Is everything alright? Indeed. We just need to speak about something quite important. And what would that be? Oyan, you love me, do you not? I do. Why are you asking that? I love you, Arlecchino. I always have. Don't think that anything can change that. She smiled softly, but there was something in her eyes that you couldn't quite read. You had no idea what was going on through her mind, and you never would, because she didn't plan on letting you know. No, she knew you would never accept, so she was making the hard choice for both of you. She knew you would never be on the board with this, and now she had to make that call herself. I made you a drink. We can talk about things while you have it. I was just wondering. The two of us have been going pretty well. I'm not really good at relationships, and you know that. But I was wondering how you felt. What do you think of me? You nod as you take the drink into your hand and start sipping at it slowly. I'm perfectly fine. Thank you for worrying, though. But really, you don't leave me wanting for anything else. I doubt that I would ever want anything with you by my side. She silently nodded to your words and waited until you drank the whole thing. And then, slowly, she got up and watched as you spasmed in pain. My apologies, dear. I knew it would hurt. But it is for your own good. You have to trust me on that. You couldn't get a word out, but the last thing you saw, and the first thing that you'll forget, was Arlecchino's concerned face as she cupped your face in her own hands. And the next time you woke up, you had no memories of her, of the house, or anything at all. She would watch over you from afar, know how well you're doing, make sure that you're fine, and that no one ever dares to harm you. But this was safer for the both of you. And now, no one could dare and try to use you against her, and no one would try to harm you again.